Nora is looking at a serious problem. Yesterday, she swung by the supermarket, bought a slab of beef, and threw it into a hot pot with her coworkers. One of them even snapped a photo and posted it to her Instagram story. That exact piece of beef is now sitting in her fridge. She pulls up her coworker's story again. The cut, the marbling, identical. Nora turns and studies the two-door fridge in front of her, slowly, like it might bite. She spots the differences fast. 2 extra bottles of mineral water. The egg count is back to 10. The red carton of Yoo-hoo she drained last night at dinner is chilling again on the middle shelf, untouched. She pulls it out, stares at the tiny electric kettle on the counter. If it were just the beef, she could chalk it up to bad memory. But with a whole spread of reborn groceries laid out in front of her, there is no lying to herself. The food in her fridge is coming back to life. To test the theory, and because she reads too many novels and knows exactly how transmigration stories open, Nora grabs her keys and heads downstairs. Her complex is new, maybe 1 in 5 units occupied. There are 4 or 5 small markets down on the ground level. One of them is the biggest, cleanest, best stocked. She walks in with a specific fear in mind. If she gets yanked into some medieval famine timeline, she wants to show up loaded. She flags down a clerk and asks for 2.5 kilograms of pork. Even if she doesn't get transmigrated, if the fridge really regenerates, she cleans up either way. She adds a kilo of beef. Beef is 90 tetras for a kilo. Pork is 30. The whole run comes out to just over 100. Worth it. She grabs a case of Aquafina. 24 bottles, 550 milliliters each. Greens, obviously. She loads up on Napa cabbage, bok choy, spinach, lettuce, water spinach, green onions, potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn. Extra important. Edible now, maybe plantable later. Tofu is a keeper. Nora likes it hot. She grabs bell peppers and a bag of chili flake blend, the kind with sesame, peppercorn, anise, cinnamon, fennel, tuned for numbing heat. Then she adds a Sichuan hot pot base, a braising packet, every seasoning she can get her hands on. If I drop into some ancient empire with 0 survival skills, I'll just open a mala stand. She grabs 3 bags of dumplings, different fillings each. A bag of fried fish balls for the hot pot, chicken. She grabs 2. 2 ducks. Cook 1 chicken and 1 duck tonight. Freeze the rest. If the fridge really can regenerate goods, then snacks are not optional, and they better be the expensive ones. She has the clerk deliver everything. Back at her apartment, she crams it all in and sprints back out, this time to the chain snack store, just outside the complex. The place is bigger than the supermarket. Walls of bright packaging. Her eyes light up. She starts kidnapping the imported snacks she never lets herself buy. The priciest chocolate, no hesitation. Chips don't fill you up, so she only takes 3 or 4 small bags, just enough to scratch the itch. Pastries, mini buns, instant ramen, all non-negotiable. She grabs 4 self-heating meal boxes, different flavors, 1 of each. Ham, obviously. A few ice cream bars. Sweet steamed buns. Pork siu mai. Osmanthus cake. Orleans grilled chicken wings. Pork burgers. Beef strips. She refuses help. She hauls both massive snack bags home herself, then turns around and heads back down. Target, fruit. Cherries, 300 a kilo. Grab a kilo. Durian takes up too much space. She picks a small one and has them pre-cut the flesh. Blueberries, high nutrition. 1 tray. Shine muscat grapes have a reputation issue, but they're still edible. 1 bunch. Kabocha squash fills you up. 2 of those. Strawberries. Mangosteens. Mango. Jackfruit. Longan. Apples. Pears. Bananas. Oranges. A little of each. Watermelon is too big. She has them cube it into containers. One for the fridge, one for tonight. Volume management. Cantaloupe is small enough. One hole in a container. She hauls the fruit home. Goes back down. Target, cooked food. Braised dishes are essential. Braised tofu skin. Braised wood ear. Braised seaweed. Bamboo shoots. Potatoes. Everything. Sweep the case. Lemon shrimp. Chicken feet. Duck bones. Duck necks. Duck thighs. She adds one whole braised duck. Vacuum-packed. Braised stuff alone isn't enough. If she lands somewhere she can't cook, she'll need ready to eat. She finds a restaurant. Orders 5 or 6 vegetable dishes. Eggplant, carrots, garlic fried napa, sautéed clams, spicy squid, house-style herring. Offal is beyond her, so she skips the intestines and orders every other meat dish on the hotpot menu. Plus rice, all packed to go. No small lobster this season. But there are crabs bought. With all of it boxed up and hauled home, Nora feels her shopping lust settle. And in its place, pride. Even if she doesn't transmigrate, she can coast on this haul for months. Maybe flip some of it back home. Half an hour of rest. Then she starts reorganizing the freezer first. On top of what she just bought, there's the New Year shipment her parents sent. Nearly 3 kilos of sausage, 2 or 3 kilos of dried meat, a big bag of dried fish, a kilo of sun-dried pork ribs, a pork knuckle, 2 bags of pickled vegetables. She realizes she forgot to buy fresh fish, but she ordered the herring and fresh fish soup at the restaurant, so it evens out. She dumps half a case of water into the freezer. Emergencies happen. Chilled section next. The restaurant vegetables go in, along with snacks, produce, fruit. She packs it like she's solving a puzzle. When the chiller runs out of room, she shoves the hot pot leftovers into the freezer. From the kitchen, she grabs 2 bags of salt, 2.5 kilos of rice. Most critical, a small jar of ground pepper. Common enough now. But in the old days, people used to say an ounce of pepper bought an ounce of gold. Worth knowing. She has no idea how it all fits. Thank God her mother has a container hoarding habit. The boxes are stacked and ready. Everything sorted, Nora stands back and takes in a fridge packed to the seams. Perfect. Now we wait until tomorrow and see if this stuff really regenerates. She does not want to transmigrate. Her parents are back in this world. After a satisfied dinner, she's about to head to bed when her brain fires off a warning. Medicine. She goes back down. The pharmacist gives her a strange look as she lists it off. 2 boxes of antibiotics, 1 ibuprofen, 1 Tylenol, both for pain and fever, 1 box of cold medicine. For the basics, rubbing alcohol, gauze, cotton balls, betadine, Band-Aids, quick clot powder for bleeding, tiger balm, a bottle of vitamins. She spots red dates and white fungus, grabs those too. If I land in some ancient court, ginseng is currency. Turn 1 yuan into 4. She pops back to the supermarket for mung beans and a few dry grains. If I get dropped into a rice-only timeline, I'll have some range. Mung beans also grow into sprouts. That widens her menu. When she is finally sure she hasn't missed anything, or rather, when the fridge physically refuses to hold another item, she goes home and forces the rest in. She wakes up the next morning and she is not in her apartment. She braced for this. She still makes a face. Her parents are back in the original world, and when they realize she's vanished, they will lose it. Can I even get back? A voice chimes in. Please relax, host. Your parents will be transported here in 3 months. Nora almost chokes. Your system. Affirmative. Unit 00125 at your service. She scans the room. Modern apartment. Nicer than hers. Whoever lived here had money. She asks the most important question. Did the fridge come with me? Affirmative, host. The hack is active. Your fridge refreshes every night at 12 a.m., automatically replenishing any consumed food. Nora winces. She had shoved a cleaver, a paring knife, and a box of matches into the fridge, just in case she dropped into some pre-industrial hellhole. Looks like those three are not on the regeneration list. And the alcohol. Alcohol you can't exactly eat, which means the quick clot doesn't refresh either. So items only respawn after I take them out. Nothing new gets added to empty slots? Correct. Host is most intelligent. All those novels finally paid off. What world is this? If you're dumping food with me, this place must be short on it. She wants to scream. This is worse than the ancient famine scenario she imagined. Her parents are coming here. How are two seniors supposed to survive? What kind of apocalypse? Please tell me it's not the infected. If it's the infected, her parents are done. Host may relax. This is a disaster-type apocalypse. First flooding, then deep freeze, then extreme heat, then earthquakes. Not better. Not remotely. Nora pushes one last hope. Can you just not transport my parents? Negative. Does host not wish for family reunification? The corner of her mouth twitches. Fine. What's the situation? Has the collapse started? Who am I in this story? This is an apocalypse novel. 10 days from now, the sun will release a solar flare of unmeasurable magnitude. Earth loses signal. More than half of all electronics are fried. Then comes the deluge. Floodwaters will rise to the 7th floor. Water, power, and network. All gone. You are the disposable side character in the novel. You are currently on the 13th floor. In the original story, after the flood hits, you go up to the 18th floor to beg the male lead for help, and you get him killed. But he has returned with a revenge complex. This time, you become the casualty. That tracks. She gets it now. Male-targeted novel. In the previous timeline, the male lead was a simp orbiting her. She got him killed. He reincarnated with one goal: payback. Standard setup for her character would be campus queen or the office goddess. Basically, the pretty one. Fine. Pretty works. Do I have a storage space? I need to prep before the flood. The fridge is not going to cut it. Each day you survive rewards you with 10 square meters of time-frozen storage. As a new operator, you receive a starting bonus of 100 square meters. Nora nods. Thinks for a beat. Sets her first priority. Step 1 after waking up in the novel: get away from the male lead. Last life the guy died because of the original owner of this body. This time he's back, with blood in his eye. She is not interested in standing on his target range. Lucky for her, this is a rented unit. She pulls up her banking app. Not rich, but there's enough. Relocating is doable. She opens a map, scans for upscale high-rise complexes in the better parts of town, and calls an agent. Tells him she wants to lease today. Money is not the issue. The contract has to be signed before end of day. The agent texts back fast. An east-facing unit on the 18th floor is available for viewing. Owner is abroad. The agent handles everything. Nora drops every personal item in the apartment into the vault and taxis over. The leasing goes clean. No haggling. 1 month deposit, 2 months rent. Given that in 10 days the world ends, she isn't going to live long enough to pay month 4 anyway. The agent hands over the keys. Strangers become useful fast. She asks him to find her a rundown warehouse in the suburbs for transferring supplies. They split at the warehouse. Nora rents a car, drives straight to the hardware market, and finds a window shop. She asks the owner to come measure the new unit personally. On top of a reinforced steel door, she wants the thickest reinforced glass he sells. He measures the windows, then offers his honest opinion. This stuff isn't cheap. You sure you want to go with top-grade materials? Nora smiles. I like buying the most expensive option. Don't worry. But it all needs to be installed by tomorrow. His face tightens. That's a tight window. She doesn't argue. I'll pay extra. Money talks. He pockets the deposit, books 6 a.m. for the install, and leaves happy. It is almost 7 p.m. 9.5 days until the collapse time to do a round of online shopping. If there's a flood apocalypse, she needs boats. She orders 2 full-size boats, a canoe, and a premium diving suit. The site's algorithm recommends plastic skiffs for 500 tetras each. Good for bartering once the world goes sideways. Or for covering her real stash. She orders 5. When the deluge hits, even a plastic boat will be gold. Next, outdoor gear. Tents. Not needed short term, but essential once the quakes start. She picks 5. 10 cold-rated sleeping bags, all in the cart. High-end tents plus bags run $300 apiece. Total, about $24,000. Multi-tool kits. Emergency flashlights, blades, pliers, rescue hammers. Grab 2 full crates. She spots waterproof pouches. Buys 500. Phone holders now, small goods holders later. Rain gear, crucial. A dozen life vests. The outdoor shop sells a compact, silent generator. She buys one. Plans to get a diesel version from a different store, plus a set of solar panels. An outdoor apparel shop is selling quick-dry shirts. Add to cart. Another shop has reinforced tactical backpacks. Some claim insulation. She doesn't know if it's legit. Buy. Next, waterproof windbreakers. 4,000 tetras each. Arctic-grade cold gear, the kind the research teams wear to the polar regions. The price makes her wince. Pants and boots included. She picks out a full set, plus a set for her parents. This round alone runs her 50-something thousand. Smaller items. Hand warmers. Portable heaters. Heat packs. Insulated bottles. Thermal mugs. Cold-rated socks. Gloves. Beanies. Thick blankets. On and on. And that is just for the deluge and the freeze. She feels the weight settle on her shoulders. Thank God the fridge restocks food and water. 100 square meters would not be enough otherwise. Also, after the freeze comes the scorch. She can stockpile ice during the cold phase, save it for the heat. Free cooling. She keeps shopping, grinning now. Sun-protective jackets. Cooling jackets. Regardless of whether they actually work, she buys insurance. Sunscreen, obviously. She grabs 50 bottles, enough for the 3 of them. During the scorch, they won't be going outside in daylight much anyway. 20 electric fans. Replace as they break. USB mini fans. The more the better, especially the neck-mounted ones that free up both hands. Non-negotiable. Big ice blocks are inconvenient and slow to deploy. She orders medical ice packs in bulk. Fast cooling patches too. She pauses, realizes she has barely bought drinks. The fridge has 1 can of milk and 1 bag of carnation powdered milk. For variety, she adds milk tea powder, loose tea, coffee, juice, canned fruit. Milk tea powder is cheap. Better value than buying bottled canned fruit. She skips the bulk. She has fresh on hand, freezer items. 4 kinds of ice cream. 1 Magnum, 1 Häagen-Dazs, 1 generic bar, 1 bourbon-infused ice cream. For 66 tetras, flavor range is limited, but unlimited ice cream in the apocalypse is its own reward. Food, covered. Moving on, humans eat and humans excrete. Apocalypse novels always have the main character buying cat litter. She has no idea if it works, but every protagonist swears by it. Buy the litter. The real problem is household water. She bought 24 bottles of water, plus the 2 still in the fridge. 26 total. 14,300 milliliters a day. Drinking, fine. Cooking on a tight ration, workable. But bathing and rinsing vegetables? Not a chance. Whether it's deluge, freeze, or scorch, water is always the bottleneck. The flood brings contamination. The freeze locks it into sheet ice you have to hack through. And what melts is still dirty. The scorch just evaporates the rest. Her vault isn't large enough to stockpile real volumes of water yet. The smart play is filters and collection gear, then catch the rainfall during the flood. Filter cartridges aren't expensive. She can buy in bulk. These will be worth more than gold later. Buy. She adds filtration machines. Electronics will take heavy wear during the collapse, so she grabs 20, plus full sets of replacement cartridges. Water tanks aren't bad on price. She compares options, grits her teeth, and orders 100-ton tower tank, plus 2 20-ton tanks. Her wallet cries. But the utility is real. Once it arrives, she can dump water in without even filtering. That's not enough. She also buys folding collapsible water tanks. Later, when her vault expands, she can deploy them. In the tank shop, she finds another gem, a hydroponic grow tent. About 5,000 tetras. Built-in grow lights that simulate sunlight. Closed-loop water system. Tempting. She has fresh produce already, but still, she wavers. Then she clenches her teeth and orders 2. Compared to a 4,000 tetra cold jacket, this is reasonable. And the long-term value is enormous. If I weren't broke and space limited, I'd buy 10,000 of them. She knows what's coming. Before the deluge, the sun goes supernova level. Global power grid. Fried. Any electrical device running at the moment of the flare, 100% failure rate. While she waits for her car, she opens the original novel on her phone and scrolls to the early chapters. Per the text, when the flare hits, most people are unprepared. Phones, 100% dead. Active home appliances, 100% dead. Every factory on the planet. Shuttered. Electronic systems in running cars, dead. Parked cars, dead too. They have batteries of their own. Nobody is exempt. Replacement parts become impossible to source. The flare sets human technology back over a century. The deluge follows almost immediately. Basic survival is all most governments can manage. Forget scientific progress. The few nations with anything left pour their resources into soilless farming, keeping a thin thread of human continuity intact. Electronics stored inside Nora's vault are untouched. They survive. Unfortunately, 100 square meters is individual scale. Useful to one person, meaningless for a nation. A drop in the ocean for the blue planet. What about posting warnings online? Best case, ignored. Mid case, trolled. Worst case, flagged for disinformation and hauled into a detention cell. Not worth the bet. Her parents are coming to this world. If she gets herself locked up, or worse, and hasn't stockpiled enough, what happens to them? Evening settles in quietly. Nora empties out the fridge, pulls out braised beef and Napa cabbage, eats quickly. A dense, generous dinner. After dinner, she adds to her shopping list. Beyond the bulk items, she hits different pharmacies for medical supplies. Only cold meds, fever meds, and vitamins will respawn. Everything else, she buys heavy masks, respirators, protective gear, disinfectants. Her parents are older. Heart medication, blood pressure meds, required. She wants vaccines, tetanus, rabies, fast-spreading flu, hepatitis. But vaccines aren't something you buy off the internet. In the apocalypse, medicine drops fast. Vaccines are storage sensitive. You pray for them, you don't purchase them. A diabetic watches their insulin spoil and then watches themselves get eaten by their own body. By midnight, she clears the last order and looks at her bank balance. She wants to cry. Balance. 560,000 tetras. After reserving the final payment for the window install, she has 150,000 left. The only thing that cheers her up is the fridge. Midnight hits. It restocks on schedule. Packed to the doors. A quietly comforting sight. Late now. She decides to read the original novel to wind down. The book is weirdly interesting. The original owner's bank account of 560,000. The author spends pages explaining exactly where it came from. Nora has landed in a harem story. The harem tag alone doesn't capture it. Plenty of male-targeted harems feature protagonists grinding for power, using luck cheats, iron willpower, cunning, or massive system hacks. Those guys have projects. Careers. This one does not. Book title, Harem Heir, Breeding My Way Through the Apocalypse. The male lead, Slade, has a spatial replication ability. The activation method, build a clan. In plain terms, sleep with as many women as possible and get them pregnant, because each child powers him up. Every new kid, another stat bump. From page 1 to the last page, the man is aimed at uteruses. This kind of power fantasy must hit a certain male demographic. Male-targeted web fiction is full of it. Nora has read Cultivation, Apocalypse, Urban, all running the same formula. She just did not plan to end up inside one. In the novel, the original owner shares her name, Nora. Slade chased her for over half a year. She chose the trust fund boyfriend at her company instead. Slade, furious, went to confront her, got blocked by the boyfriend, got slapped in the face. From then on, he hated both of them. Decided the original was a gold-digging, shameless, loose woman. Decided the boyfriend was an arrogant, rich brat flexing on the working class. Nora can understand hating the rich. The misogyny is odd. First, the original never said yes to him. He built the simp campaign himself. She dated somebody else. He took it personally. Second, Slade as written is nothing. Average face. No money. Not smart. Ordinary school. No track record at work. His manager chews him out daily. He rents an apartment in the original's complex, several thousand tetras a month, because he wants to live near his crush. His choice. His money. Then he pins all his financial problems on her. Decides the original is bleeding him dry. Meanwhile, the trust fund kid is handsome, generous, Ivy pedigreed, and works at his family's company. Any sane person picks the rich kid. Post-reincarnation, Slade runs his whole routine on deception. His signature move, dangling a pack of instant noodles in front of a starving woman. The author describes this man as, quote, elevated, decisive, and violence. In practice, he's a grifter running game on desperate women and patting himself on the back for it. If the world weren't ending, not one of these women would look twice at him. Picture it. One man, 10 pregnant women orbiting him, 8 kids trailing behind. That's not a fantasy, that's a true crime docuseries. The original owner barely appears in the novel. No family background, just the male lead's dream girl. She dated the rich kid for less than 2 months. Before Slade reincarnated during the first Deluge, she got hungry and climbed to the 18th floor to beg for help. He refused. A couple of gangs cleaned up both of them. Her assigned keywords in the book: greedy, gold digger, picked the rich boyfriend, bled the simp dry, burned the trust fund money. On that count, Nora has one thing to say. Long live greed. The 560,000 tetras in her account? All from the rich ex, who is, technically, an ex now. He is also, according to the novel, pure. Maybe because male-targeted authors like that trope, the handsome rich boyfriend hadn't even touched the original twice before they broke up. Funding that generous, Nora should probably tip him off. But Everett is the author's #1 useful plot puppet. Best to stay out of his lane. By the back half of the book, Everett becomes a final boss figure. His father ends up being one of the leaders of the settlement. When the map moves to the settlement arc, well, on top of basic survival, the system has handed Nora a mission: hijack Slade's luck. The luck heist, not urgent, she has the script. First priority is stockpiling enough to live. If she finds a clean opportunity to chip at him, she'll take it quietly. Day 2. The contractor's crew arrives at sunrise. Nora wants to be out shopping, but she can't leave the unit unsupervised. The reinforced door and windows are her first phase survival odds. She watches the install personally. She can still shop from her phone. Yesterday was emergency gear. Today is daily essentials. Hygiene first. Unscented body wash. Unscented shampoo. Unscented detergent. Unscented toothpaste and brushes. Most importantly, toilet paper. Pads. She is 24. If the world doesn't restore industrial capacity, she's looking at pads for a very long time. Buying this volume on a single platform is a red flag. She spreads the orders across 3 or 4. Plans to hit a wholesale market later. Insecticides, mosquito repellent, anti-itch spray. She buys pesticides in bulk. The apocalypse without pest control is basically living in a forest. Next, cookware. Glass and ceramic are fragile, so she goes stainless steel. Bowls, plates, disposable utensils. No kitchen without cleavers and long-handled paring knives. Yeah, definitely essential for daily use. The downside, weapon-wise, they're useless. Country C regulates firearms hard. Real weapons are basically impossible to get. She considers a nail gun instead. Best to buy it 2 days before 0 day so it doesn't flag as suspicious. Then the small stuff. Disposable underwear. lighters, towels, scissors, needles and thread. She thinks about it, then searches for old rice. Low-grade bulk, 25 kilograms a sack. 200 sacks. Total, 500 kilograms. This pile is for public display. Once settlements start forming, staples like old rice and potatoes work as passage. A small bag gets you waved through the gate. Price is nothing. Under a tetra per half kilo. After that round, she looks at her balance and wants to cry again. And that is with Klarna, financing in use. But the pile of stockpile is real. The satisfaction is real. She estimates the next 2 days will be a parade of deliveries. One more essential, the one most people skip. A fire extinguisher. Once natural gas cuts out, every household is cooking on open flame. In a high-rise, that's a death setup. Fire extinguishers are non-negotiable. She is not going to plan this well and then die in a kitchen fire. Order placed. She frowns at the list. She still wants a life raft. The small, round kind used in earthquakes and tsunamis, Taobao-type platforms don't carry them. The ones that do are priced into orbit. In the novel, Slade builds a 4-person life raft, stolen, not bought, from a free science and tech expo. Or steal it? Not complicated. She just has to go a day early. She blinks. Decides it's doable. Once the deluge hits, going outside is dangerous. She needs the plan locked in now. She's about to keep shopping when her phone pings with a news alert. Headline, Solar Flare Class 10 6.3. She opens it. Short article. A Class 10 flare has just erupted. Some radio transmissions disrupted. This is the 23rd Class 10 event in the current solar cycle, higher frequency than past cycles. Given that we're in an active solar period, experts say there's nothing to worry about. Below, a quick explainer. Solar flares are classed B, C, M, X. On September 1, 1859, the Carrington event took out telegraph systems across Europe and North America, produced extreme weather, and pushed aurora visibility down to the equator. Past solar flares have caused mass blackouts, satellite disruptions, and one event that took out over 40 satellites at once. But the experts repeat, nothing to worry about here. This one won't meaningfully harm modern society. For the aurora fans out there, we're in for a beautiful light show. Don't miss it. Nora thinks about the show coming a few days after that. The one where red light drowns the sky. The one where, under that dreamlike red, the blue planet kicks off a new round of species culling. Very beautiful. She closes the page. She knows what to buy. Aluminum foil. Simple. Honest. Useful. When the flare hits, her vault will only be at 200 square meters. She can't fit her electronics. But unplug everything. Wrap them in foil and... Hail Mary, sure. But something is better than nothing. Especially phones. Even at 0%, can anyone guarantee they'll survive? Wrap them to be sure. She is planning to preserve shows, movies, novels, offline maps. All of it needs working devices. By 10 p.m., the apartment work is done. On top of the new reinforced front door, she added 3 interior steel doors and a layer of soundproofing. It looks rough, but once the generator starts humming, the sound stays in. And right now, that is what matters. There's no time to install thermal insulation, but most newly built towers come with insulation baked in. Imperfect, but it'll buy something. Starting tomorrow, Nora plans to hit the streets again. Top priority, meds and energy supplies. Anything else worth grabbing along the way, she'll grab. Before sleep, she pulls up the original novel and keeps reading. This text is one of her cheats. She can't afford to skip it. The novel runs roughly 1 million characters. Major events, layered conflicts, names she can't keep straight. Yesterday, she pushed through about 100,000 words while fighting sleep. Today, she finished her tasks earlier, so she can read more. Honestly, she wants to sleep. But time is the most expensive thing she owns now. Sleep gets cut. A chapter takes 10 lines to skim. She gets the gist of what's coming. The disasters, the predator factions, who connects to who. She covers another 400,000 words. She skims fast, doesn't read deep. She skips harder over the scenes where Slade and his rotating women share quarters. When she finally closes the file, she sighs and finalizes a new shopping list. A pile of meds, disinfectants, and the rest. A radiation suit. The iodine pills and the radiation suit are because, in a phase coming up, a global-scale N-word WR breaks out. Nora doesn't fully understand why it happens at this point. But thinking through what the author wrote, resources gone, people surviving on a single bite of food and a single sip of water a day, every nation ends up the same. Every nation gets desperate. What they fight over? Ocean resources. After the disasters hit, one massive flood wipes out most agriculture. Land becomes hostile. Every country pivots to the seas, especially the polar freshwater reserves. In extreme heat, freshwater is worth its weight in gold. It's also the grave of anyone who tries to mine it. Everyone wants a path to survival, so conflict is inevitable. Today your ship rams mine. Tomorrow I burn your port. The scale escalates. Surviving governments hold the line, but rogue terrorist cells and warlord states do not. Nobody knows who pulls the trigger first. But once a few dirty bombs drop, the retaliation chain runs on its own. The blue planet eats every single one of those strikes. For now, all of this is far off. Her current target is simpler. Stockpile. 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 She's already out of bed early. First task. Inventory check. Online orders all shipped to the warehouse, but most haven't arrived yet. What she has on hand is the fridge, which restocks daily, and 3 days of accumulation. 78 bottles of Aquafina, 3 pots of chicken hot pot, 3 of duck hot pot, 3 pounds of cherries, 3 boxes of Hershey's, vegetables, fruit, condiments, jerky. The pile is showy enough to look like a small mountain. On top of that, fearing a meat shortage, she'd bought another 5 pounds of pork earlier. That's now 16 pounds. 16 pounds of pork is a lot. Even if a family of 3 ate a pound a day, the daily restock is 5 times what they could chew through. Plus, she still has braised beef, spicy crab, sausage, squid, clams, and more, all of which restock at triple volume. Yesterday, it was fine. Things that didn't need cold storage stacked in the room. But today, the rental's fridge can't take a single more item. Pull the door open, and it's wall-to-wall meat and prepped meals. Only now does Nora register it. This restock function is terrifying. No choice. She seals the vegetables, fruit, and cooked food and moves them into the 130 cubic meter vault. Time freezes inside the vault. Produce won't spoil. Nothing rots, nothing stinks. After sorting what she has, she flips a few items in the fridge, buy and resell, and clears about 7,000 tetras. Combined with yesterday's leftovers, she's sitting on roughly 8,500 tetras. Per the plan, Nora heads out to a car rental company. The owner is on the heavy side, looks just past 40, older than his actual age. Probably the office grind aging him fast. He's eager about the work, almost too eager. He asks her right away what kind of car she wants. "I want one with a large fuel tank," Nora says. The owner pauses. He hasn't heard that before. A bigger tank means heavier fuel consumption, and on a long drive it'll empty just like any other. Tank capacity, in his head, doesn't matter. There are gas stations everywhere. Any other requirements? He asks. Vehicle age, horsepower, brand, drives well. Big tank. The tank size has to be big, Nora says. He pulls out a catalog. How about this Lexus? Tank holds about 36 gallons, nearly triple a regular family car. Vehicle age is just over 5 years. Or this Mercedes-Benz. Big tank, luxury interior, very smooth ride. The horsepower is high. Twin turbo, 0 to 60 in around 6 seconds. Price is a little steep though. How steep? Nora asks. 260 tetras per day. 1,400 deposit. Nora immediately points at the Lexus. And this one? 80 tetras per day. 1,000 tetra deposit. She does the math. 8 days of rental plus deposit, 1,640 total, within her acceptable range. After all, this is essentially buying a used car. She glances at his employee badge. Name reads Wallace. She nods. I'll take this one. 8 days. Mr. Wallace, draw up the paperwork. Wallace is honest about it. Paperwork's no problem. But let's go look at the car first. Decide after. They walk to an empty lot. Wallace runs through what to watch for, lets her drive 2 laps, and only then heads back to sign. While she's about to sign, something hits her. Mr. Wallace, is there a bank near here? Out the door, left, about 500 yards. There's an ATM. She sets the pen down. I'll go pull cash. One moment. About 15 minutes later, she returns with 1,400 tetras in cash. She signs, hands him the bills. Wallace looks slightly puzzled. Miss, we accept iMessage Pay. Why bother in heat like this? She stops the pen and looks at him. Her tone goes serious. Mr. Wallace, if you trust me, hold on to this cash. There will come a time when you need it. He smiles. No problem. A businessman should always keep some cash on hand. She doesn't know if he believes her. After the solar flare drops, the smart ones won't be rubbernecking. They'll be sprinting to buy supplies. Mobile payments will die. 1,400 in cash will be real money. It'll buy a life. Later, currency will turn to paper. Even wiping with it will feel wasteful. After leaving the rental shop, she finds a hardware store and buys 30 large 55-gallon drums. Then she starts the gas station tour. Last night she ran a water test. The vault can extract liquid on its own and pour it wherever she points. No need to physically pump anything. Clean. While bouncing between stations, Nora doesn't just buy fuel. She stocks more meds, snacks, anything else useful. Every transaction in cash. It's not that the cash helps the gas stations. It's that Nora wants no paper trail. Cash transactions are simply safer. By end of day, she's hit more than 20 stations, walked into more than 40 pharmacies. Today's drums are over half full. Looking at the rows of drums in the vault, she feels the high of a hoarder and the weight of pressure. The high? More supplies. The pressure. Her vault isn't big enough. 130 cubic meters. Way too small. The system chimes in on cue. Steal the Mail leads destiny in this novel, and the system will reward additional vault space. I know, she replies internally, but it's not that easy. Force is off the table. I'll need to think laterally. While she's mulling it over, the phone, silent for 2 days, rings. She pulls it out. Caller ID, Zoe Chen. She remembers Zoe. She's a coworker of the original owner, same line of work. They were on good terms. Zoe is also one member of Slade's harem in the novel. Nora swipes to answer. The other side launches in, Nora! Why didn't you come in today? Today is Monday? She'd actually forgotten. Apocalypse coming. Who has the headspace for an office job? Work is not happening. She has zero appetite for it. She picks an excuse. Mood's been off. I'm planning to quit. Zoe goes, oh, then, is it because of Vance? Vance is an old money kid. The original Nora and Vance had broken up not long ago. Nora figures the excuse fits. Yeah, working in the same building as an ex is rough. I want to switch jobs. Zoe sounds disappointed. Really? But honestly, I don't think it's that bad. He doesn't even work on our floor. I'll miss you if you go. Explaining further would be wasted breath. Nora says nothing. Zoe fills in the gap herself, assuming Nora is heartbroken and trying to outrun the wreckage. But a fresh environment could be good. Mr. Nash chewed everyone out in the office today. Said if y'all keep skipping, just resign. Even Slade didn't show up. Does he think he's also in love with Vance or something? But I could tell. The one he really wanted to chew out was you. Let him talk, Nora says. I'm not going back anyway. Zoe sniffles. You're really level-headed about this. Nora, are you actually okay? Want to come over for drinks? 1 cup chases 1,000 sorrows. Zoe and Nora live in the same complex as Slade. Different floor for Zoe. Their relationship is decent. They commute together most days. Zoe is sweet and dreamy in the head. Her older sister works as a manager at a big firm. Solid income. Treats her only sister well. Even bought her a car. Nora used to catch rides from Zoe sometimes, then bring snacks as a thank you. No need, Nora says. I'm not home right now. Catch up later when I'm free. Zoe must read it as raw heartbreak. She owes again. Okay, Whenever you're free. We live close anyway. Nora hangs up. A strange smile creeps across her face. Internally, she addresses the system. Tiny soul? I just figured out how to wreck the male lead's stud destiny. The system. Tiny soul? What is that supposed to be? Your unit number is 00125, right? Whatever I call you doesn't matter. She continues. We can run a long-range play. Strike from the Chen sisters. Side. Cut Slade off from finding wives in the early phase. The system sounds alarmed. Host. Tell me you don't mean to harm the Chen sisters. Nora flips into mock disgust. How could I? Think it through. How does Slade get both sisters to fall for the same man? The system pulls up the source. In the novel, the Chen sisters initially had no interest in Slade. Especially Sloane Chen, the older one. All bold confidence, beautiful, capable. There's no universe in which she falls for him. But supplies were brutal. To give her sister a better life, Sloane fell into Slade's trap. For half a box of bread, she had to guard his base every day. The setup created private contact time between Slade and Zoe. As conditions worsened, to keep both of them alive, Sloane finally gave herself to him. What she didn't know, while she was guarding the base so Slade could go scavenge, Slade was at her own apartment, working on Zoe. He was lying to both sides, and Zoe is sweet and naive. Perfect mark. By the time the sisters realized the other was also involved with him, it was too late. The system adds, that's how Slade locked them down. Sloane's management skills are sharp. She handles his harem and runs his base efficiently. Zoe's intellect is lower than her sister's, no combat value. Slade uses her to bear 9 of his children. Nora says, right. Slade's whole rise leans on these 2 sisters' contributions to his clan. But what if we slip them supplies first? The system. Oh, she acts on it immediately. She knows Zoe's address. Worried delivery services might shut down later. Nora picks Amazon Prime same day for door-to-door compressed crackers, non-negotiable. Small volume. Fills you up. 3 months without leaving home guaranteed. Can't buy too much water. It'd flag attention. But she can stack up water purification tablets. Freeze-dried fruits and vegetables are pricey, but volume efficient. Worth it. Rice and flour, cheap, staple. Add to cart, fever reducer, vitamins, a few other meds. Add some. Things only women remember to buy. Forget anything else but pads. Quality of life matters. After listing, the total comes out to about 400 tetras. Nora's happy to pay it. The system sounds gleeful. Host is a genius. Now Sloane won't have to sacrifice for her sister in the early phase. This will reshape Slade's trajectory. Per system projection, the long-range tactic has high success probability. Reward issued in advance, 1,000 cubic meters of vault space, and the fridge restock rate doubles. Nora's eyes light up. Restock rate doubles? The system explains formally. Each item in the fridge restocks twice per day. For example, 1 bottle of water becomes 2. Of course Nora gets it. She gestures, suppresses a grin, then deliberately frowns. Only doubled? I might have just deleted 13 of his kids. The system says with weight. Host, even you said might. Fine, she mutters. She puts both hands on the wheel and lets the smirk break through. Mood's good. Going home to eat. She's been running all day. She's exhausted. Plus the fridge restocked at double today. She decides to reward herself. A real meal, rice? Skip it? She pulls citrus shrimp, duck feet, duck bones, chicken feet, potatoes, dried tofu, wood ear mushrooms, and edamame from the vault, spicy crab, fragrant squid. She thinks the spread isn't enough. Adds durian, grapes, watermelon, cherries, banana. The whole table is covered. Summer without ice cream. Impossible. She tries top shelf bourbon for the first time. 1 sip. Sharp burn, satisfying. Adds bubble tea on the side. 3 days of bad meals. Her mouth corners curl up. She skips the novel tonight, opens the TV instead, finds a popular variety show. She eats until she lets out an oof of fullness, then sprawls on the couch. Easy living. Half an hour later, the clock hits midnight. She snaps back into combat mode. Off the couch. Opens the fridge in the vault. The system said today's restock would be doubled. She wants to see how it works. She thinks for a moment. Pulls one cold water bottle from the top shelf. The instant her hand touches it, a second bottle materializes in her left hand. Oh, she pulls a pound of beef. It becomes 2 pounds. She pulls 5 pounds of pork. Both hands sag heavy. She nearly drops it. 5 extra pounds of meat per day. That's 150 pounds a month. 500 pounds in 3 months. Plus all the fruit and vegetables. Plus the water, 52 bottles per day. More than she can drink. Her smile widens. She rapidly clears the fridge and stashes everything in the vault, 1,140 cubic meters. This haul is a few drops in the ocean. She opens her phone. Delivery tracker updates. Tomorrow's batch arrives. There's too much to do outside. She can't camp at the warehouse all day waiting for boxes. So yesterday she posted a part-time job ad on a recruitment forum. 200 tetras per day. 6-day contract. Just receive packages and watch the warehouse during the day. Daily pay. She opens the recruitment app to check applicants. Notifications start hammering. Ting, ting, ting. The phone almost slips from her hand. This job is that hot? It's just part-time. She taps in. Then she gets it. It's summer break. A lot of new graduates haven't found work yet. Plenty of students want a quick gig. The applicant pool is huge. She browses through the photos and picks a guy who looks solidly built. Sends him a message. It's not that she's worried about the warehouse getting hit. It's that some of her supplies are heavy. She'll need a strong young guy to move them. He responds fast. Promises to start on time tomorrow morning. The next day, 9 sharp, she meets him at the warehouse. The kid is genuinely built. Tan skin, looks like he can grind through hard work. They don't talk much. Nora explains. This is corporate ordered inventory. The company sends people for pickup at night. His shift ends at 6 p.m. After settling that, today she skips the gas runs. Hitting too many stations would tip people off. Today's top priority. Coal. In the late phase, urban gas supply gets cut. To survive, you need fire sources. Furniture, the trees in residential blocks, the suburban forests, even library books. All of it gets burned. For now, she can stockpile. So stockpile big. Nora drives out of the city, into the countryside, and finds a coal briquette factory. Walking in, the place looks half dead. Environmental policies the past few years have squeezed honeycomb briquette manufacturers. Summer is the slow season. Business is dead. The whole factory looks like a shed about to collapse. The owner isn't a sit-and-watch type. He's working the molds with 2 other guys, joking around, covered in black dust. The sweat tracks down their faces, leave clean rivers through the soot. He sees Nora walk in and stops. Young lady, buying coal? She nods. How many briquettes in a ton? He sees a young woman and assumes her parents sent her. About 800 per ton. How much do you need? 200 briquettes? Nora calculates. Coldest phase definitely needs a lot of fire, but she'll layer in other energy sources. Even if she burns daily, 4 briquettes a day, 20 tons gives her 10 years. I need about 20 tons, she says. Boss, what's the lowest you can go? He stares. That much? As long as he sells, he doesn't care what she does with it. He can't hide the surprise. Pauses then. Our briquettes are eco-grade honeycomb. Long burn time. Standard rate is 1.25 tetras per piece. I really can't go lower. Tell you what, I'll do 125 tetras per ton. Nora, 119. The owner makes a face. Honestly, I can't sell at that. You know what coal prices are right now. Labor's scarce. Business is rough. She sees he's actually struggling. Then make it 123. Lucky number. Higher than that. My boss won't sign off. Also, do you know anyone nearby selling smokeless coal? He breaks into a grin, finally landing a real order. He's already calculating profit. Smokeless coal? Out the door, right? About a half mile. Place there sells it. She continues. Any lumber yards? I want to buy offcuts. He rattles off a list. She notes each one. They lock in. Delivery every 3 days, payment on delivery. Then she finds the smokeless coal yard. Since it's only used in cold months, and the price is 430 tetras per ton, She only takes 5 tons, 11,000 pounds. The same yard sells multi-fuel cast iron stoves, the kind that burn coal or wood, with a chimney. Stainless steel body, tempered glass top about 4 feet wide for cooking, a small built-in oven on the side. In winter, it can roast sweet potatoes. One firing heats 20 kettles of water. That's a cold weapon-grade tool. Nora doesn't know if she'll be able to install it later, but her dad will be coming, so it should work out. Still, she preps backup plans either way. After locking in delivery time and place, she hits 2 more lumber mills. Buys all their offcuts. 6 or 7 tons total. Around 300 tetras combined. Over 30 tons of fuel total. Should last her household a long time. Since she'll be installing a stove, she figures she needs construction materials. She's already in the suburbs. Convenient. She picks up clay, cement, electrical wire, piping, waterproof sealant, waterproof adhesive, and a few other items. The road back has plenty of hardware shops. She walks into one. Buys a chainsaw, wrench, screwdriver, drill, air pump, adds chain locks. She also finds a small mushroom farm. No hesitation. The fridge doesn't have mushrooms yet. She buys. In an apocalypse, mushrooms become essential. They grow without soil, without sunlight, harvest in 20 days. They become one of the most common foods. She buys a bag. Then she scales up the idea. She can stockpile mushroom spawn blocks. She doesn't know how to grow them, but her mom probably enjoys this kind of thing. Adds another safety net. She also picks up 2 Aero Garden hydroponic units. She finds a seed shop on the map and goes. Buys 5 large bags of mixed seeds. Lettuce, cilantro, chrysanthemum greens, sweet potato vines. Modern seeds are strange. Many produce fruit but no replantable seeds. Every year new seeds. Once the world ends, those will become impossible to find. Nora lists more types and grabs a bit of each. Seeds means fertilizer. She buys assorted fertilizer too. A thought hits her. Tiny soul. Can my vault keep livestock? The system answers, irritated. Host. Stop calling me Tiny Soul. Nora. Why? Your prefix is 00, isn't it? The system. Then can I call you Tiny Soul too? Your name has Nor in it. Nora replies seriously. Sure. But if you don't like it, I'll stop. First, answer the question. Can I keep livestock? The system. All living organisms entering your vault enter a frozen state. Live animals only get one path. Death. Then are these considered alive? They won't be unusable when removed? They have a dormant phase. They can sprout again. Nora relaxes. The livestock idea was just exploring options. Not being able to do it is mildly disappointing, but no real loss. After 5 p.m., she heads back to the warehouse and pays the kid before his shift ends. Today's delivery is light, about 40 boxes. The kid stacks them clean. The big item is 2 diesel generators. She moves the generators into the vault first, then opens the boxes one by one. This time, Nora has a slight headache. So much to organize. She decides to categorize. Otherwise, finding anything later will be hell. The vault isn't locked into a rectangle or square. She can shape it freely as long as she stays under total volume. She partitions the vault plant zone, med zone, tool zone, clothing zone, fuel zone, miscellaneous zone. Fuel zone gets the most space. Over 30 tons to store. Tool zone is small for now. Expandable later. Food gets split. Cooked and raw. Raw splits further into staple grains, vegetables, fruit, meat. The reserved space in those zones is large because the doubled restock rate will fill them fast. With clean partitions, the 40 boxes get sorted quickly. The next 2 days, she's busy buying crude oil and diesel fuel, then back to the warehouse to unload. Every day exhausting. Sleep quality drops. The solar flare gets closer. 4 days left. That night, Nora prepares a stack of cash, masks up, and heads out. She has business to handle. For days now, she's been running in and out of gas stations. During the day, a man approached her, asked if she wanted to buy diesel. Nora thought she was dealing with law enforcement. She shook her head. Diesel? What's that? No. I'm just here to fill up. The man wore an unreadable expression. Don't be tense. I'm just doing business. Striking up a conversation. If you don't believe me, you can join our drivers group chat. Plenty of people know me. I go by Lee. She was half skeptical. She knew fuel smugglers existed. Didn't expect them to come to her. Lee held out his phone. Join my group. We guarantee the lowest price. Nobody pulls rank on newcomers. She hesitated, then took out her phone and asked, You're diesel. What's the rate? Lee typed a number into the chat. Cheaper than the gas station, right? What about by the ton? She asked. By the ton? He hadn't expected a whale. Then absolutely there's a discount. How many tons? I'll get you the rock bottom price. She wanted more, but cash on hand was limited. 10 tons first. If quality holds, I'll send the boss your way for future orders. 1 ton of diesel produces about 5,000 kilowatt hours of electricity. A household runs on roughly 100 kilowatt hours a day. The numbers shift in an apocalypse, but 10 tons translates to 50,000 kilowatt-hours. Combined with solar, that's a long runway. For gasoline, she's already stocked plenty over the last few days. Once the collapse hits, she won't be driving daily. Demand drops fast, right? And 3 tons of gasoline too, she adds. After negotiating, they set the meet for 3 a.m. Suburbs, no witnesses. It's her first time on this side of the trade. She's tense. She partitions a weapon zone in the vault. Pepper spray, personal alarm spray, stun baton, knife, anything she can pull fast. Midnight. Nora rolls out early. Drives to a nearby spot, parks in a clearing, walks to the meet point on 11th Avenue. She waits an hour. Nothing strange. Around 2:50, Lee and 3 middle-aged men roll up in a truck. Nora confirms no ambush. She runs back, pulls her car from the vault, then strolls in like she just arrived. The diesel is already drummed. She tells them to unload. Lee asks, Young lady, where's your delivery vehicle? My boss is coming, Nora says, but you don't need to wait. Boss doesn't want to be seen. Rich folks really are careful, Lee says, clicking his tongue twice. We'll unload now. You alone, no backup. That's fine? Fine, Nora says. What could possibly happen to me? Quickly, the 4 men finish unloading for her to inspect. She randomly checks a few drums. Then she pretends to grab cash from her car, actually pulling it from the vault, and hands Lee a black bag. The 4 men finish counting the cash, climb back into the truck, and pull away. Nora stays put for an hour, no tail. Once she's clear, she pulls every drum into the vault back home. She leaves the smugglers, group chat, and sleeps like the dead. The next 3 days, she hits every wholesale market and tops off her stockpile. Beyond daily essentials, she adds rubbing alcohol, propane stoves, propane tanks, butane camping canisters, anything she can't get online. She also realizes she forgot winter outdoor gear. She finds a snow sports outfitter and grabs snow boots, a snowmobile, and 2 snow ATV's vehicle maintenance tools, non-negotiable. Tire snow chains too. Then she buys something practical and high-tech, the kind of thing people don't say out loud. Condoms. According to the novel, supply runs short fast in the collapse. Nora buys 2 large boxes, every size, and out of dark humor, picks a different flavor for each one. She still has to fill 140 tons of water. The job is dull and slow. She has to sit there watching the tap, so she reads while it fills. She finishes the original novel, nearly 1 million characters. She takes the chance to download a stack of films, TV series, variety shows, and books. With system assistance, the connection runs much faster than normal. Today is the final delivery day. It's also day 2 of the apocalypse countdown. The contract with the warehouse kid ends today too. So Nora rolls up at 5 p.m. planning to let him off early. The collapse is going to be brutal. They have a small thread of fate, this kid and her. He's kept the warehouse spotless every single day. Nora packs 40 pounds of rice, a jug of cooking oil, and a bag of flour. Tells him it's surplus from the company welfare, and her boss said to pass it along. The kid is delighted. He scratches his head. Too bad my place doesn't have a kitchen. Miss Nora, maybe you should take this back instead? Nora hands him today's 200 tetras. Boss said it's for you, so it's for you. If I take it back, isn't that embezzlement? You're not from around here? He grins. No, I'm a student at the sports university next door. Got it. Sports student, explains the muscle. Nora pokes a little. Not bad. Wouldn't have pegged you as a sports major. You're working through summer break? Not heading home? He explains. Sports students burn through cash. Every summer break, I stay and pick up work. I only go home for New Year's. Nora shakes her head silently. Skipping summer back home was fine before. Once the collapse hits, going home becomes a final goodbye. She asks, curious. Your home is far? Yeah, far. Mountain country, southern province. My parents are farmers. They lease a big plot to grow chili peppers. Nora thinks, high mountains. When the floods come, there's a chance they hold their ground. And no matter what, it beats being cut off forever. Side jobs matter, she says. But if you have time off, go see your folks. I don't know how parents think exactly. But I'm guessing your mom misses you. She call you a lot? He looks slightly embarrassed. Every day. Then go home. He gives a wry smile. School starts soon. What's the point now? I worked hard for this money. Nora puts on a heavy expression. Even if you only go for a day, go. You're working to ease the burden on your parents, right? It's all for them in the end. But did you ever think what your mom needs most might just be your face? If you'll listen to me. Tomorrow, take this stuff home for one trip. Call it a gift for your folks. Your parents miss you. Are you really telling me you don't miss them? Of course he does. His face wavers. He grits his teeth. Miss Nora, I want to go home. Nora doesn't push further. She lets him clock out. After he leaves, she enters the warehouse and starts the great box opening campaign. Rip, rip, rip. She works past 10 at night. Finally, everything is sorted. Nora looks at the empty warehouse and exhales hard. One more day. The collapse arrives. Her mood isn't great. She isn't like the female leads who drop into a novel and stay detached. Thinking about what tomorrow does to the people on this land. Her chest goes tight. That warehouse kid, just past 20, hardworking and honest, white teeth flashing when he laughs. Will he make it through? But thinking helps nothing. She gives herself the silent talk. Pull it together. Her parents are still on the way. She has to take care of them. Fully. She locks up the warehouse and drives off. The final day before the collapse. Today Nora is up early. First, she clears out the fridge. Then she runs through her checklist one more time. Anything missing? Conclusion. Basic supplies are complete. Only weapons are short. That's the hardest category to source. She'd actually bought a bow online, recurve and compound, both available. Listings claimed it was top-shelf brand, effective range out to 75 yards. But when it arrived, she couldn't draw it. Even with the training methods in the manual, who knows how long until she can hit a target. So Nora pivots toward nail guns. The thing is brutal. A few people who bought 2 at a time got flagged, mostly because of the sheer barrel size. A nail gun's max velocity hits 935 feet per second. Faster than a small handgun. Outside an apocalypse, Nora wouldn't dare buy one. They draw eyes fast. In the morning, she circles more than 10 hardware stores. Mission today. Nails. Yes, nails. Noon. She eats a quick bowl of noodles. By 2 p.m., she walks into a shop and buys a nail gun. The owner asks why. She says her husband's a maintenance technician. The thing is brutal, but it's a standard tool for migrant workers. Costs just over 15 tetras. The owner hands her one and tells her to be careful. Nora exhales quietly. Pays cash. Bolts. Same play. She tweaks her appearance slightly, hits a second store. Then a third. Cash every time. After each purchase, the nail gun goes straight into the weapon zone in the vault. With the goods in hand, her nerves settle. Just as she's about to drive to the 4th shop, the system pipes up. Host, look who's across the street. Nora glances up, her eyes light. Oh, I see him. The man is 5'8", plain face, wiry, almost frail. This is Slade, the destiny darling of this world. What's he doing out here? Know your enemy. Nora pulls up the original novel and checks what Slade is doing today. After reading, her face shifts into something complicated. His outing today isn't productive business, but it's understandable. In the original, Slade's cheat is a replication space. He stockpiles one of everything, then uses, quote, clan contribution points to copy items without limit. The replication ability eased his early phase pressure to hoard, but he still borrows heavily, including loan shark money. The reason is simple. Apocalypse incoming. Why not enjoy life first? Today, Slade is going out for a Michelin-starred meal. One feast isn't enough. To flex, he sends an iMessage to the original Nora afterward. The photo accidentally reveals his hand alongside a lavish menu and a check totaling 17,000 tetras. He also sends shots of his stockpile. He wants the original Nora to know he's loaded with supplies. Jealous? Envious? Want to come crawling? Beg me then. This is exactly the feeling Slade lives for. Humility. He doesn't need it. The system speaks softly. Host. Should we stop him? Nora watches Slade's back. You don't need to whisper. He can't hear you. The system. Ah. So should we stop him? Stop him from going to dinner? No. Nora's fingertips tap the wheel. A slow smile. Let him develop. Let him waste his own time first. The system. Nora doesn't explain. She starts the car and pulls away. She stops at 4 more nail guns before she finally curbs her primal urge to spend. She has 50,000 tetras left now. Subtract the 20,000 already used. She has 30,000 to burn through today and tomorrow morning. Otherwise, more than half becomes waste paper. What hasn't she stocked yet? While she thinks, the iMessage notification pings. She knows who. She slowly opens the app. Confirmed. Slade has sent her a photo. The shot centers on his right hand and a glass of red wine. The angle catches a long receipt below, a Michelin tier menu, Western dishes like steak. Caption. The taste at this Michelin-starred restaurant is just average. Slade probably isn't familiar with what Michelin actually means. He treats the 3 words as a foreign luxury label. In reality, the 3 Michelin restaurants in this city both serve local cuisine. So do the 2 stars. The 1 stars also focus on local. Average flavor is the norm. But Nora isn't going to correct a male lead trying to enjoy life before the world ends. She closes the app. She thinks about what to stockpile next. Earlier, Slade's table had dessert. It hits her. She should grab pastries. Stress relief. Plenty of bakeries on the road. Nora finds a mid to high-end shop and buys every pre-made dessert on the shelves. Then the second shop. After 10 consecutive bakery raids, Nora has filled the brand new pastry zone in the vault and burned through almost all her cash. She heads home 10 p.m. Tomorrow, the solar flare hits. After her shower, she steps out of the bathroom, picks up her phone, and finally decides to post a warning on her Instagram. She doesn't mention apocalypse or anything close. No one would believe it. She keeps it simple. Tomorrow, no one fly. Tomorrow, no one fly. Tomorrow, no one fly. Important things go 3 times. She checks for typos and posts. She also pushes a Twitter post on her account. It has 52 views and 0 comments. Fine. At least 52 people see it. While she's reconciling her supply list, the iMessage notification pings again. Nora knows it's Slade sending more stockpile photos. She smirks and opens it. She's been waiting. The image centers on a floor lamp at his place, but accidentally reveals 5 large food sacks beside it, plus a mountain of fruit, compressed crackers, canned meat, supplies piled across the floor. Caption. Knocked over the floor lamp yesterday. Replaced it. Set me back 1,200 tetras. This guy's performance deserves max points, Nora mutters. She smiles at the photo and forwards it like she's done this her whole life. She and Slade share 3 group chats. Company group, department group. Building tenants, group, run by property management. Their landlord is in there. Nora forwards the photo to all 3 groups in one shot. Then she types out a perfectly righteous message. Slade, stop sending me weird photos. I told you I'm not interested. All three groups go silent. Right now, everyone is locked in for the drama. But tomorrow, they'll remember the most important thing in that photo. Nora uses the sweetest two-faced voice she can manage. Please stop bothering me. I'll go to the police and file harassment. I've blocked your iMessage. Stop messaging me. 3 exclamation points isn't enough. She adds a few more, for flavor. She also forwards the screenshot of the 17,000 Tetra Michelin receipt. And don't think because you have money, you can do whatever you want. Even if you had $1 million in gold stashed at home, I wouldn't be interested. The line is mostly aimed at the property management group, strangers who don't know his real face yet. $1 million in gold is nonsense. But if you mix one lie into 10 truths, even disbelievers will start to wonder. Gold stashed at home? Once the collapse hits, cash becomes scrap. Gold stays liquid for a long time. After firing all that, Nora opens the company group. Question marks everywhere. The tenants group went quiet at first. Then 2 profile pictures of older men popped up, joking that the young man knows how to play it. The chat isn't loud, but Nora knows these people are gossiping behind her back. They're forwarding the 2 photos to their entire contact list. Spread coverage will be excellent. Smiling, she leaves the chat and checks her Twitter post. 125 views. So 125 people saw it. No idea who believed her. No idea if it saves anyone. Whatever. The solar flare's brightness will erupt at 6:30 p.m. on 0 day. Nora sleeps straight through to 11 a.m., roughly 10 hours. No idea if she'll ever get to sleep that long again. After washing up, she clears out the fridge and pulls up Twitter to check yesterday's post. 137 views. Not a big jump. Whatever those views actually represent, the share of flyers among them is small. The share of believers among the flyers is smaller. Nora exhales and is about to lock the phone and head downstairs. That's when she notices her unread Twitter notifications. After tapping through, ignoring the bored people sending friend requests, Nora moves on. A few old co-workers messaged asking what's going on. Even Vance, the old money ex, sent a check-in. She ignores all of it. She does reply to Zoe Chen, though. She tells Zoe that Slade has been chasing her wildly, even borrowing loan shark money to fake being a big shot. She warns Zoe to be careful with him, to ignore him at the office. Zoe writes back, Nora, don't worry. He resigned. I can't believe he's that kind of person. Scary. You also stay careful around him. Nora. I will. Cat with knife emoji. Zoe sends a face rub emoji back. Nora laughs softly. She heads out, scrolling on the way. When she reaches the elevator, she's surprised to see someone already there. A young woman, around her age. Casual outfit. Slim waist. Long legs. Refined face. There's a quiet, classical air to her. Looks like she trained in dance. Long, straight legs. Skin a little tanned. Nora looks up from her phone and offers a small smile. The other woman smiles back. Heading down? Nora nods. The woman speaks. You just moved in? I'm in 1802. Nora's complex sits in the suburbs. High ground, beautiful views. The developer focused on mid to high-end builds. Upper floors only have 2 units per floor. 2 families, fewer people, more space. Below the high-rises, there's a villa zone. 2 units per floor means the woman in 1802 is Nora's only neighbor pre-collapse. Nora replies, I'm in 1801. The woman's eyes brighten. My brother mentioned it. Said a pretty girl just moved in. This is our first time meeting. Have you met my brother? Nora thinks back. Nothing. She picks the safer half. I just moved in. I work late, so I rarely cross paths with him. The elevator arrives. The woman lets Nora in first. Then she steps in, presses G, and asks, G or floor 1? Nora notices calluses on her hand. Thick ones. Floor 1. Heading out for a haircut. The woman presses one for her. A genuine sweetheart. Nora is satisfied with her neighbor. She wonders what the brother is like. If the sister grew up looking like an angel, the brother probably isn't some hulking type. Right, the elevator opens. They part ways. Nora walks out of the complex and gets her hair cut short. In an apocalypse, long hair is dead weight. Some people shave their heads to avoid lice. Nora can't accept that yet, internally. After that, she walks the complex grounds, soaking in the calm and beauty before the collapse hits. At 6 p.m., she returns home, stashes her phone in the vault, checks her electronics inventory one more time. She'd already moved the car into the vault yesterday. Outside, people start debating signs. Someone says, fish are jumping, animals are fleeing. But most have nothing to back it up. The solar flare's brightness erupts without warning. No sound. No alert. No blinding light. The sun begins its descent in the west. Then a strange sound rolls down from the sky. Some kid by a window cries out, "Mom! A plane! A huge plane! It's falling!" The disasters cascade. No one can count the dead from the plane crashes precisely. Much later, when the polar regions ignite into resource wars, people gather and tally what they can. Per incomplete estimates, over 1,700 commercial aircraft were airborne at the moment. The casualty count exceeds 1 million. That figure doesn't include damage from planes losing control and slamming into ground. 20 minutes later, the sun quietly sets. The complex erupts into chaos. Almost everyone runs for the stairs. They don't know what just happened. They think it's an isolated accident, that they're the only ones who saw a plane fall. They want to call the police. The phones don't work. Still, no one realizes the collapse has begun. They run to property management, asking the staff to send someone with them to the nearest police station. Another group wants to head into the mountains where the plane went down. It's already dark. How do you go into the mountains? You're not afraid? What if there are survivors? Survivors. You'll die there yourselves and end up needing rescue. What's even happening? No power. Phones won't work. The group is talking themselves in circles when a girl, maybe 15, bolts down the stairs and grabs her mother's hand. "Mom, Dad, come upstairs. Something is wrong." Her mother frowns. "What's wrong?" The girl is flushed from running. The whole city has no power. Pitch black everywhere. Nowhere has lights. The crowd freezes. The fast thinkers sprint to the nearest upper floor and look toward the city. Pitch black. The whole horizon swallowed. Yesterday, this view was a wall of light. High rises, stacked side by side. Now there's nothing. One man immediately thinks of his car. He runs to the underground garage, panting hard, only to find the door won't unlock. In the panic, he forgot the key fob. He clicks it again and again. Nothing. About 30 seconds later, he remembers the key, gets the door open, slides into the seat. Then his face freezes. What's going on? No way! Why won't it start? More people pour into the underground garage. They want to drive out. None of the cars start. The crowd's panic doubles. What is happening? The first man's face is gray. He doesn't know what's wrong, but the situation is deeply strange. A family of 3 parked next to him looks no better. The son, in his early 20s, breaks down. What is this? Cars, phones, TVs, all dead. Is this the apocalypse? His mother is past 50. She grips her son's wrist where he sits in the driver's seat. Voice low. Don't drive. Run to the complex gate. Get food. Don't tip anyone off. Father and son catch on. The 3 of them slide out of the car and slip out of the garage, silent. They're shaking. Adrenaline. When they reach the convenience store, it's already packed. The mother shouts, "We're too late! Grab fast!" The complex's mini-mart is small. Inside, it's a wall of bodies. People shove each other, snatching essentials. The ones who can't reach vegetables start grabbing unopened crates. 3 years from now, hoarding behavior will get violent. In a state of we don't know what's wrong, all anyone can do is try to be stronger than the next person. Up on her own floor, none of this touches Nora yet. She pulls the curtains in 2 layers and lights a candle in the living room. The flame is weak. It throws light across her pale face. She just watched a passenger plane fall. The fear is heavy. If she sat in the dark, the image would replay on loop. The fear would deepen. It was a plane. Nora loves to travel. Most of her income gets fed into the country's mountains and rivers. She's flown plenty, she never imagined she'd watch one go down. In places she can't see, more than 10,000 planes are falling right now. That's just the most visible damage from the solar flare. The sun has set, but the storm is still hammering everything. It will rage harder for hours. The aftershock of the solar flare lasts 6 days. In this scenario, even cutting power won't save the machines or the grid. The sun will keep firing high-energy particles at Earth, a fatal blow to human industry. No nation gets out clean, but none of that matters. The day after tomorrow, the rain begins. The rain will scale up fast, it will swallow basements. In low-lying areas, it will swallow ground floors. Nora pulls out her shopping list, checks it again for gaps. That's when someone knocks on her door. Her face goes still. She doesn't move under the candlelight. A young woman's voice from outside. Beautiful neighbor. Beautiful neighbor. Are you home? I'm in 1802. We met this afternoon. Nora stays silent. She watches the door. A paring knife appears in her palm out of thin air. The voice continues. I came to tell you. People are fighting over food downstairs. It might not be necessary, but it's better to stock some essentials. My brother told me to come ask. Do you want to head down with us? Nora pauses, surprised. In the early phase of the collapse, meaning before this group has even registered that the world is ending and human nature is still mostly intact. This neighbor is offering to take her shopping? But it makes sense. If your neighbor has nothing, you become their pantry. Nora can't be in two places at once. Reminding them isn't a bad move. Same logic the other way. Nora wants her neighbors to have food too. She blows out the candle and stands. Hold on. I'm coming with you. She pulls a wad of cash from the vault, slips it into a backpack, and hurries to the door. Outside stands the young woman from earlier. Beside her, a man, 26, maybe 27. He holds a candle wrapped in paper. The woman is the same one from the elevator. The man is 6'1", not soft and pretty like his sister. Sharp, sculpted face, strikingly handsome, hawk-sharp eyes, athletic build. Clearly someone who trains. He sees Nora and introduces himself. I'm Knox Hayes. This is my sister, Hazel Hayes. Nora relaxes a fraction. She doesn't recognize either name. The brother isn't a villain from the novel. The sister isn't a harem member. Nora, she says. Knox nods. Let's move fast. He turns and shoulders a mountain bike. Nora shoots him a glance. Knox explains. I'm heading farther out for supplies. You two handle the food run. Hazel says, Brother, don't worry. I'll take care of myself. And I'll take care of... Nora fills in. Nora. Hazel nods. Yeah. I'll take care of beautiful Nora too. Nora smiles. Coming down from the 18th floor isn't easy. None of them dares to go slow. On the way, Knox keeps adding warnings. Grab what you can, drop it if you can't, don't fight for it. Hazel pushes him to hurry. After the split, Nora and Hazel head to the north gate. The supermarket there sells candles. Inside the shop, a few lamps are lit, enough to show the chaos. In the chaos, some people grab and run without paying. Can we even shop in this? Hazel sounds doubtful. She braces, locking onto Nora's wrist. Don't worry, I work out a lot. I can grab stuff out of those aunties' hands. Nora grips Hazel's hand back. Follow me. Hazel? Nora pulls her forward. They pass several smaller marts on the way, every one of them a shoving match. People are starting to throw punches. In 3 years, hoarding will get savage. When you don't know what's happening, all you can do is be the stronger one. They walk 7-8 minutes. Nora stops. Hazel pulls out the candle her brother gave her. She lights it. Ahead is a hotpot eatery not far from the complex. The shutters are down, no one in sight. Nora knocks. Boss, are you home? Silence inside. We're here to buy vegetables. They won't last long. You stocked plenty. Sell us some. I'll pay double. About 30 seconds later, the shutter rolls up. The young owner, Frank, says, Get in, quick. Nora and Hazel exchange a glance. Cautious, they step inside. The shop is small. Hazel's candle is the only light. Inside, beyond Frank, his wife is helping. She holds a baby asleep in her arms. Nora cuts straight to it. We'll take all the vegetables you have. If you have other food, we'll take that too. Frank hesitates. There's plenty of vegetables and some frozen items, but I won't sell the noodles. Nora nods. Understood. Frank starts packing half his vegetables: bok choy, spinach, cilantro, chives, enoki and other mushrooms, plus sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, dried tofu, lotus root, daikon, seaweed. Some washed, some still raw. He also packs frozen beef, pork belly, chicken feet, beef balls, fish balls, and other meat items. Hotpot eateries usually carry glass noodles, sweet potato vermicelli, instant ramen, and basic dailies. Frank buys these dry and rehydrates when serving. Nora sees the inventory in the back kitchen. Roughly 20 cases of instant noodles. She doesn't comment. Frank notices her gaze. He looks at the two young women. Bites his lip. Honestly, no one knows what's happening. I just got new stock in. Let me give you 2 cases of instant noodles. To Nora, this is nothing. To Hazel, it's everything. Hazel's eyes light up. Thank you so much. My brother told me to grab anything that stores well. Frank doesn't seem thrilled. No one knows what's coming. But he figures if he can help, he should. He still has plenty of stock. There won't actually be a food shortage, will there? It's just a power outage.